Uh-huh. No cameras on at night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, late night, city asleep. Lights low, mind still awake. I was building something quiet while they scrolling for a break. No cheers in the moment, no claps when I stayed. I was learning self-control while they looking for a stage. Didn't post it, didn't show it, didn't need nobody to believe. I was focused, I was chosen, I was working when nobody seen. I was built in silence, no applause, no guidance, just discipline and patience when the room was empty. I was built in silence, no approval needed. What I grew in the quiet, now it's ready to speak, 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 yeah. Every note made me sharper, every way made me strong. I was mastering the lonely while they rushing what they want. I didn't need validation, didn't beg to be known. I was investing in the process while the world looked the other way home. Oh, no distractions, no excuses, I kept showing up alone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They gon' feel it when it's finished, they just won't know what it took. I was built in silence, no applause, no guidance, just discipline and patience when the room was empty. I was built in silence, no approval needed. What I grew in the quiet, now it's ready to speak, now it's ready to speak, now it's ready. Silence taught me clarity, lonely taught me trust. I learned how to keep going when nobody clapped it up. No shortcuts, no noise, just alignment over hype. Now the confidence is solid cause I earned it in the night. I was built in silence, still calm, still grounded. Everything I planted now is rising slowly. I was built in silence, no rush, perfect timing. What I grew in the quiet, now it's holding me. Oh, they hear it now, but they miss the nights, that's alright. Uh-huh. No cameras on at night.
The content game is broken.
Yeah, late night city.
The content game is broken. Yes. Welcome, everyone. We're going to be getting started shortly. I wanted to thank you for coming out and hanging out with me. I'm going to be coming live right now. And as we go into this amazing workshop, I hope you learn a lot. I see you, Kelly Joy. Thanks for joining us. I see you. If you guys are here, I definitely can see all your live comments. Thanks for coming in and spending some time with me today. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to hopefully teach you something that you didn't know and share with you some amazing tools that I've been using that has been changing the game. Um, like I said, when I first opened up, I said the content game is broken. And I truly believe that. And the reason I believe that the content game is broken, because the way of doing things online is different than what it was in the past. Now that AI is here, AI can build your social media out faster than any uh, AI or a human can do it. You can post daily on your bots. I mean, there's just so many things that's available to you now that AI is here. So I want to thank you again for being part of this. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to come on the camera real quick and let's do this. Let's do this. I got a lot to share with you, so I'm not going to keep you long, but we're going to go ahead and get you going and get this party started. Let's get this party started. Let me get this camera open real. Yeah, I got an Elgato camera. All right, here I am. There we go. Hey, folks. It is a wonderful day today. And today I'm going to share with you how to build your webinar out in a very short period of time using artificial intelligence. Now, everyone understands that building a webinar, there's few things that you're going to need just to be able to make sure that it's properly prepared. And what are those things that you need to build a webinar? Go ahead and put it in the chat. What are some of the things that you know you're going to need prior to building any type of webinar? Just go ahead and put it in the chat. Tell me one thing that you know you will need before you even start to build a proper webinar or a podcast for that matter. What's one thing? Um, a good setup. There we go. Yeah, you definitely need a good setup. That's a true statement. And a PowerPoint. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. You're gonna need a PowerPoint. Um, what else are you going to need? What else will you need? A mic. All right. Yeah. Software, content, value. You know, all of those answers are so true. And the thing about a webinar, you have to have your foundation in place before any broadcast can ever go out to the public. And what is usually the foundation? The foundation is those things that you mentioned. Obviously, you need proper equipment, obviously, need proper setup. Obviously, you're going to need a proper registration page. You'll need a proper landing page. You're also going to need what is it that you're going to speak about in your webinar. So, you're going to need the presentation itself. And then you're going to need a platform to actually go out and do that podcast or that webinar or even coaching. And I want to tell you a quick story. Years ago, I did a program called Share the Stage. I used to invite guests on, and as these guests came on, prior to going live, I had to juggle a whole bunch of different tools. I had Zoom, I was using OBS Studios. I also had to be able to have my overlays in place so that the show could perform. I needed an intro and an outro. And just by a show of the audience, how long do you think it took me to prepare just to be able to go and do a 1 hour show? How many hours do you think it took me? Do you think it took me 5 hours? Do you think it took me a week? It takes time to create a proper production and a proper show. And that's just how life goes. You have to be able to create those things. Well, folks, it took me 3 days minimum. And as the show began one time, I was ready. We did a full hour. I just knew I hit a home run. I asked all the right questions. He gave me all the right answers, and I had some gems in that show. And then I looked down, and all of a sudden, I realized that after that full hour had passed, the guest audio never recorded. Boom. It was like a bomb being dropped on me immediately. And that bomb was a nuclear explosion. I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to have to call the guest back and say, hey, I'm sorry. We were unable to get your audio recorded. So I practiced my apology, and I can only imagine what he was going to say. How unprofessional. What are you doing? You're wasting my time. But I called, and before I could get it all out that his audio had not recorded, he said, no problem. I'll do it again. Now, I was like, thank you. I appreciate it. So we went ahead and we did it over, and it was good, but it wasn't as good as the very first shot. The audio, the original, in your zone. And unfortunately, I learned a big lesson. I mean, fortunately, I learned a big lesson. One of the lessons is that grace is important. You got to give yourself some grace, and others can give you grace as well. And that's always needed. And all because one thing don't always go out properly doesn't mean you have to give it all up and quit. So fast forward, years have passed, and I realized that AIs came, and I started dabbling in artificial intelligence and just thinking to myself, well, what would I do if AI could do anything I wanted it to do? And I came up with a idea. I said, the reason why that audio didn't record is that I was just juggling just too many things. I had too many stacks. I had too many softwares. I had just too much work on my plate just to give one broadcast. And if I only had a better system, maybe that error would have never taken place. So for the last 8 months, I've been with my head down trying to figure out a way to do just that. And today I'm going to share with you what I've created that has allowed me, my team, to do this thing called webinars, podcast, interviews, so much faster and so much better. And what I've come up with is a system. And the system is called the 4A method. By the way, how many of you know you need to have a system in your life just to have a peace of mind? Because doing things just all out the place can get you anxiety and frustrated. Am I the only one? Am I the only one? So if you believe in systems, I want you to go ahead and type in the chat systems, okay? Systems. All right, because having systems will actually save you time and save yourself money. All right, save yourself time and money. And the way that works is through a system. So I created a method. It's called the 4A method. And today I'm going to walk you through each of that 4A method. And the 4A method, ladies and gentlemen, is a methodology that I've created that will allow you to stay focused and build that system to where it's going to actually benefit you long term. It's going to be a template that you can reuse over and over again. And by the way, if you stay with me to the end, I'm going to have a special bonus for you that you could take with you and reuse this particular system on the fly. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a very valuable bonus, and it's going to be given to you if you stay with me to the end. So those who've registered on the actual landing page and who's not watching through Facebook, you can always go to our landing page and register, and you'll get that same bonus. But if you're on social, you're not going to be able to get the bonus, unfortunately, because I don't have your contact information in order to send it to you. So if you DM me, then maybe I might hook you up. So let's go ahead and get right into it. What is the 4A method? Well, the first phase of the 4A method is the first A. It's called anchor. Now, when you think of an anchor, ladies and gentlemen, what does that, what thought comes to mind when someone asks you about this thing called an anchor? What is the first thought that comes to your mind? What does it look like? We all know that anchors are usually in the middle on the boat. Anchor could be a foundation piece to build around. Well, in the production world, an anchor will actually stand for a thing that I like to call the pieces of the puzzle that you need to have in place before you even do a 1 hour presentation. That anchor is one, your registration page. You need that. I don't care where you're broadcasting from, you always going to need a registration page, and that page will collect someone's name and email. Right? All right. All right. So that's out the way. Then you're going to need a landing page, what people like to call, and this is a form of a funnel. And landing page is basically telling people about your actual webinar or your podcast or your show. So you have to have something that obviously that's persuasive, that will even make someone want to click and give you their email so that they can be notified when the show begins. Then you also need a way to follow up to remind people that the show is actually going to happen or the webinar is starting. And that's usually through a series of sequential emails or maybe DMs that may come to the phone. These are all foundational systems that have to stay in place to you for you before you even touch the microphone. And then the final anchor to that is obviously your presentation itself. What are you going to say? What is your offer? What is your call to action? Are you prepared? Because if you're just going to go and do a presentation on the fly, unfortunately, like many of us, we've done that in the past. We've created awesome presentations. And then usually, what happens to the recording once it's done? Yeah, it's usually sitting right there on your desktop in a folder, and it never seems to touch the light of day again. Why is that? Well, today we're going to actually address that in one of the A's as we continue to move on. So the anchor is the first step. Now, today, morning, night, I will discuss how we'll conquer that. Now, for those of you who may not know who I am, let me introduce myself. I'm Chante Earl. I'm an author. I am a engineer coder. I've coded. I'm not an engineer for say. I'm self-taught. But at the age of 11, I was first introduced to coding at the local library. And I learned how to make a little stick figure walk across the screen. It changed my life. It created a spark that hasn't went out. Over the last few decades, imagine that, I've been always part of this thing called technology in one way or another. I've always had some type of video camera taking pictures and photos. I built websites. I've learned HTML coding. I understand how to do marketing and funnels and so forth. I even teach artificial intelligence through one of my programs called Smart AI Workshops, where I help businesses automate their entire workflows. But AI has really changed the game, folks. So when it actually came into play a few years ago, I dropped everything and I focused 100% on artificial intelligence to learn the system so that our communities and our people and the nations and the world won't be left out of it. And I started working on different ways to bring value within this thing called artificial intelligence. So here we are today, fast forward. And those of you who are watching on Kanaira. This is my baby. I put it together over the last 8 months, and now we're finally sharing it with the world. So you're experiencing Kanaira yourself by watching this on the actual platform that's been built over the last 8 months. I've learned a lot in that process. I'm not going to go into that. But one thing I have discovered is this is that systems will save you time and money, and you want to count the cost before you build anything. What is it going to cost you? How much is it time it's going to take? Who you're going to be away from? What type of sacrifice are you willing to make? Because it's always going to be a cost. So I'll leave it there. I want you guys to stick with me through this, and I'm going to get back into the presentation. So after the anchor, folks, we have to be able to air. And when I talk about air, I mean go live on either social media or just go live like we're doing right now. We are live. And once we're live, let me go ahead and make some switch. Once we're live, we're not just going live just for the heck of it. We're actually going live to allow our production to be used. So it's not just live. We're actually going to turn it into an asset. So once we're live, that's actually going to be a asset, folks. So most of us, we go live and, the materials is just sitting around on our desktop. We'll use Zoom, we'll record it, and then nothing happens to it. Okay. It's just there, just nothing really happens to it. Is that just me, or does that happen to you too? How many of you, by a show of hands, have content that you know should be repurposed, but it hasn't been repurposed? It's just sitting and you know it's good and you've collected it. Let me see in the comment. How many of you have content? Just put a 5 in the comment just to let me know. Hey, how you doing? Yes. Yes. Systems are absolute systems. Yes. How much content do you have that's just sitting? How much? I can look at multiple computers and I can see a lot personally for me. And now I'm going through it. All right. So we're gonna think about how we're going to repurpose that content. Okay, we're gonna repurpose that content. So in order to do that, make sure that before you air, you've done your homework. You know, you've got your PowerPoints in place. You have your call of actions. You have your offer and everything in place so that you can make sure you give the best performance possible so that now you could amplify it, which is the third A, folks, in the 4A method. And that is amplify. Now, let's talk about amplification real quick here. All right, let's talk about how we amplify. And amplify, folks, is this. That's when you take all of the content that you have done, that 1 hour, and you turn it into social clips. You could turn it into a short form video, a podcast, for say, or even emojis. Now, you can even create an evergreen webinar. Now, evergreen, for those of you who don't understand that, evergreen, folks, is when you're ever getting paid. That means that money is coming, rain, sleet, or snow, 24/7. It's running while you are sleeping. And until you're able to make money while you're asleep, you'll always be working. All right. And we're going to eliminate that. So that's amplify. And then once you've amplified, the final A in the 4A method is automate. Automate. That's correct. Automate that same hour and turn it into something that works for you. Folks, I want to put this out there. I want to tell you to stop creating disposable content and start creating systems. All right, I'll say it again. Stop creating disposable content and start creating systems. And today I'm going to show you a system that's going to show you firsthand how to use this thing called the 4A method. The anchor, the air, the amplify, and the automate. I'm going to walk you through that with over the next hour, and you're going to see something that AI will do for you that will save you countless hours and give you back some of your sleep. How about that? The old way of doing things and the new way. See, the old way is like a treadmill. You post every day. Who said that? Everybody says post, 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 right? You want to be everywhere, right? So you want to make sure you're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. You want to do all of that. You're trying to be everywhere. You're constantly creating. And not only are you constantly creating, you also have content that disappears within 24 hours. So basically, you created something and then it's gone. What? Who said that's the way of going about doing things? Creating and having it disappear. That's a waste of time, right? Well, that's the old way. It's disposable. And then usually you have to start over tomorrow. Is that just me? Is that just me? I don't think so. Brittany, are you with me? What is disposable content? Well, I just told you what it is. You start over and over again. Oh my goodness. Hey, I'm looking at some of my chats here. Kelly Joy said I've got a ton of content that's sitting. I tell you, we all have content. Oh, yeah, I answered that one. Yes, cousin. Yes. And you know what, folks? The new way of doing things is this. This system here is all about systematizing. You speak once and it lives. All right. It don't just die, it lives. You build the foundation, you build the page, your offer, and you capture it. You capture the names, the emails, that's a system. And then you amplify it into 8+ assets. That's right. You turn it into clips, posts, emails, SEO friendly for your blog. And then you automate the funnel. That's correct. So it sells while you are asleep. Who likes that type of content where it sells while you are asleep? Come on now. I think we all could use that. And then it compounds every week. Every week it just gets continued better. And that's what I like to call leverage. So we're going to stop chasing and we're going to start compounding. Are you guys with me? Are you folks with me? Ladies, gents, this is what I'm talking about. And I'm going to walk you through the system right now on how we are going to compound. So let's look at it firsthand. I'm going to open up. Oh, I see a hand there. Okay. You raise their hand. Okay. I see you. If there's a question, what kind of questions do you have? I can answer your question. What's your question? Go ahead and put it in the chat And then I'm going to walk you through the system live. Is that okay? I'm going to walk you through my system live. And we're going to do that right now. So let's get into it. I'm coming back on screen. I hope you guys are gaining some value out of this. And I had to at least just give you an introduction before we go into the actual demo itself, because the demo is everything. It's everything. And I'm going to make sure that this demo lands. So for the first thing I'm going to do, oh yeah, by the way, if you are watching and you're at home, you can go to Roku and download Canira TV, and you can watch this live on your Roku TV. Just go to Canira TV, and you can watch us live on television. Imagine that, okay? And the beauty of that is that you go live once, and you're on every screen. That's right, your mobile, your desktop, and your TV. So I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share, and I'm going to open up my first screen share, and I'm going to take you to the software. I'm going to walk you through the 4A method and give you an opportunity to see it in action. Fair enough? Let's go. So here we are, folks. We are now looking at the desktop, and the system is Canira. What does it stand for? What does it stand for? All right, hold on for 1 second. My microphone, I can't hear myself here. Hold on, let's stop screen sharing. Okay, folks, can you hear me? Let's make sure you can hear me. Hold on. Check one, check one. Check one, check one. All right, all right. Let's do it again. Check, check one. Check one. Check one. Okay. And if I froze up over there on you, go ahead and refresh. Just refresh your screen. If I froze, go ahead and hit refresh, and everything will come back. Okay, it's stalled. I had to refresh. Okay, sorry about that. That happens sometimes. We got to refresh. So go ahead and refresh. You'll come right back. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my screen again. And if we have to refresh again, just let me know. Because again, we are in beta, so bear with me as we are in beta, okay? Appreciate you, appreciate the love. So let's go ahead and share the screen again. All right, so the screen is shared. Go ahead and hit refresh one more time. Okay, go ahead and hit refresh. All right, let's make sure, refresh. All right. And now that we're live again, I'm going to go through after you refresh, and let's make sure social still has us. Again, we are live on all platforms. And sometimes things, you know, they work, and sometimes they tend to give us some challenges, but we're going to be okay, folks. So go ahead and hit refresh. We are still here. I don't hear anything. Okay, hit refresh. All right, I see you, Cliff. I see you, Cliff. All right, let me know when you guys are back with me. That's something that I'll be fixing over shortly. But now that we're live, I'm going to walk you through the system itself. Make sure you guys hit refresh, and then we should be right back at the right spot. So now that we're in Canira, We're going to go ahead and open up the dashboard once you're here. All right, I appreciate you guys sticking in there with me, Kelly. I see you back. I see you back. We are in Naira, and we are in the back office. So we're going to show you how to actually anchor. Let's show you how this system anchors your whole entire business webinar. Okay, the first step is this. Once you're in, it's real easy. You can go live. If I wanted to, I can just press go live, jump right into my presentation. I can do a quick start, and that's going to take me directly in the studio. Or I could set it up, but we're not going to do that, okay? We're going to build a new webinar. So we'll go create new. Now, the good thing is that you have options. Let's set up your webinar. 4 answers, and you're live. You can change everything else later. So that's easy. So if I know what I would like to call my webinar, I can go, what is it called, right? And then I can just go ahead and add what I want to call my webinar. There's several different names for it. Let's go ahead and just put in the name webinar launch workshop. We're going to go in and copy and paste that there, webinar launch workshop. And then I'm going to go ahead and go live. All right. I can create live. And this is one way of going about it. If you know what it is that you want to say. Now that the webinar is created, there's several things that you currently have. One, your webinar is ready to share. That fast. You have a registration link already built. So you have a full registration page. You have an invitation letter already built. And you also have down here a analytic, so you can see how many people registered, how many people viewed the actual page, also how many people came to your landing pages that was built, and you can even see your conversion. And the beauty of that is this. Let me look at my chat real quick, make sure everybody is there. I don't want to leave nobody. Still stalling on my end. Please refresh. Just refresh. Hit that refresh button one more time. If you're stalling on your end, it's usually due to the computer on your end. But go ahead and hit that refresh button. So now that we have the registration page in place, let me show you what it would look like. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and go to share. And let's look at the registration page. So we'll copy that. Let me open up the registration page for you so you can take a look at it. Okay. Share this tab. And there you go. Your registration page is built, including a timer. And what happens then, if someone goes in and put their information in and register, they now will have a full registration page that they can see. And when it's time for them to join, all they do is click join webinar. And this would be their webinar, your webinar page. How fast and easy was that? Wow. That's the anchor, folks. That's what it's all about, being able to set it and forget it. Now, obviously, there's more to it than just your webinar page, also your registration page. You may want to edit it and add a thumbnail. Most of us want to add thumbnails. So let's go in and add a thumbnail. So I'll edit my webinar, and I can make it private, or I can make it public. And